What's up and good morning everyone, welcome back to another video. As you can see, we got a 1984 BMW E30 in for a wash, clay, and seal. What we will be doing to this thing is a decon wash, thorough iron removal, and then protect this paint. Guys, this vehicle is 37 years old with the original paint. The owner just confirmed it for us, so we don't want to put anything harsh to the paint. We don't want to let the iron remover dry up on the paint. We want to remove it, then keep the process going smoothly and efficient. If any sort of chemical is dry on it, you have a great chance of going through and etching the paint. Now, if you were to do a paint crush on this type of vehicle, you want to go very light and throw on like a finishing polish and just glide it over. If you start doing any sort of heavy correcting, there's a high chance that you'll probably burn through the paint right away. It'll flash. Being that's original, remember 37 years old of original paint, we don't know what's on it. If there's no coating on it, the paint's super dry, there's a high chance of this paint failing instantly. So you got your buckets ready. We got our clay mitt, our 2 towels, and our dirty water bucket, also our wheels and tires. We'll start this process off with some Eco Wash and a foam cannon. So the reason why we put Eco Wash on the paint beforehand is so it'll soften up all the debris and dirt. So then when we move on to our pressure washing stage, it'll make it super easy. So then before we go to our contact wash, there's no more dirt on the surface. So while I'm going to start pressure washing, Jacob's going to start on the wheels and tires. We're using some OP Clean, diluted 10-to-1, and all our brushes. And for the wheel faces, we like to use Decon X.
4-to-1. 4-to-1, sorry.
4-to-1, sorry, my bad.
4-to-1.
10-to-1's for what?
Interior.
There you go. So let's get to pressure washing. So right away, wash on that dirt. Alright, so now that the wheels and tires are done, we're done pressure washing. Jacob's gonna go through it one more time with some Eco Wash and a spray bottle. It's gonna lubricate the surface when we're putting our towels to it to minimize any sort of marring. So let's get to it again. We noticed some light water spotting right here in the corner and around like this fender. Could have been hit by a sprinkler, but just by sitting. We're gonna use some OP Spotless, go through it. What you wanna do this stuff is spray it on the paint. Jacob can go through with the wash mitt, scrub it in, then we're gonna rinse it off. Alright, so your 2-bucket wash is done. You did your pre-rinses, wheels and tires are done. Next step is some iron removal. Some OP Decon X right here. This is going to be our clay lube as well. I remember talking about that in the last video to show you guys, so here it is. What you want to do is spray it all over the surface. It's okay if it gets everywhere, like on the trim and stuff, it won't stain it. That's one good thing about Decon X is it won't stain any sort of trim. But you definitely do not want to let this stuff dry on the paint. So if it's sunny out there, rinse it off right away. What are you trying to do? Photography? Alright, so you got full coverage of Decon X and you can already see it working right away. Check all that stuff out. So it might not look like there's iron particles in your paint, but there is. This chemical will show it for you. That's a good thing about this stuff. And like I said, if you're working in the sun, I wouldn't let it sit for as long as we are in this video. Just kind of rinse it off after. But if you're going to use the clay bar method with Decon X, please put it in the shade and do not work out in the sun. But once you got full coverage on there, they got flew in that parking spot. You see that? So now that Decon X is on the paint, what you want to do is you have a bottle of Eco Wash. We put 1 cap of Eco Wash into the 16-ounce bottle or 32-ounce bottle. Want to do some light coverage with it just to add even more lubrication because that Decon X is starting to dry. I'm going to go through real quick and hit it. And then I'm going to grab our clay mitt right up here. We have these in stock in our retail set, so if you are local, feel free to come by. We got these in stock for you guys. And you just want to work straight motions back and forth. You're going to work that Decon X into the paint. You can see it starting to foam up. That means it's starting to agitate and working more than, and it's doing its job right there. So go through the entire vehicle, very thorough. Get nice, good coverage. Focus on any sort of areas that need more. pressure really, just light, and just letting that clay mix glide over the surface. And you can see how Decon X is working its way into the paint, getting nice full coverage, removing all that iron contamination. That is still working even after using a clay bar. So it's digging deep into the paint. That's what you want. That's proper decontamination, leaving a nice clean surface before you add some protection to it. Just keep working around the vehicle. Jacob's got his wash mitt knocking out this side while I'm doing the passenger side. Done with the decontamination phase, we're going to go ahead and pressure wash all this iron off, and you can still see like it's working good. Look how purple that is. This is what you want to see when you're doing your decon stage. You're digging deep into that paint. So we're going to rinse it off now. We're going to dry it and pull it in the shop and apply some protection. I'm thoroughly impressed with this paint job. Like, for being 37 years old, this paint is in very good condition. Just a few minor imperfections in the paint, such as like that spot right there. There's one more of those like that. You can see someone has burnt through the paint right here. So this is why I say, like, do not do any sort of like crazy paint correcting to this thing, because you already see burn spots. You know this paint job is super old, and the whole goal is just get it shiny. Like, already after that decon wash, look, it's super glossy. We haven't even applied any protection yet, so it's only gonna get shinier from here. So the next step after doing that decon wash and rinse, we're gonna use our blower, lightly air dry all the cracks and crevices, the wheels, and we're pulling it in the shop and start doing a panel wipe and apply some protection. Alright, so we got our OP Ceramic Plus. We're gonna dry the vehicle. Well, we're gonna pull it in, but Jacob's doing some pressure washing real quick. So we're gonna pull this in, apply this. This is a nice little drying aid. It leaves behind about 3 months of protection as a standalone. Then we're gonna follow up and top it off with OP Ceramic Detailer, so stay tuned for that one. So now that we got the BMW pulled into the shop here, you can see more of how the paint looks under this lighting. And if you tell right there, it's got that weird little film from being neglected and sitting outside, and it's got some pitting in it. So we did a little test spot with some finishing polish using Shine Supply Burnout and a orange H2O pad, and check out that before and after. And the goal with this vehicle isn't to do any sort of crazy correcting. Being that it's a 37-year-old vehicle with original paint, like I said, you do not want to burn through this. You want to preserve it, and by using Shine Supply Burnout, it'll leave behind a silica topping. So we'll let it set before wiping it off, giving you that extra protection. And it's a very fine cut, so it's just removing an extra top layer of haze. So Shine Supply Burnout is going to be the go-to here. Jacob and I are knocking this thing out real quick, and before wiping it off, like I was saying before, you want to let it set on the paint before wiping it. Give it about like 5 to 10 minutes. That'll allow that silica to apply sort of like a base coat type of thing before you put your protection. It's a primer in a way. So that's what we're going to do on this thing real quick. Knock it out, bring that gloss back, and it'll start looking awesome. After we're done using Burnout, we will follow it up with some OP Ceramic Detailer, which is this stuff right here. This stuff is rated up to a year. It's sort of like a 1-year coating. It's 6 months to a year, depending on how you apply it. I would say with a wet application, meaning using it as a drying aid, you'll get about 3 to 6 months out of it, 6 at the most when a wet application. But if you apply it like a coating, quick, it's super user friendly, you'll get a year out of it, no problem. And obviously maintenance is key, so you can get more than a year if you protect this vehicle and maintain it. So we got a Burnout. Let's knock this thing out real quick and get going. Alright, so after polishing up the paint, we remove that Burnout. Now I'm going to follow it up with some Ceramic Detailer, lock in this paint. Jacob's working on the windows and the interior, and should just be about it. So here's the Ceramic Detailer. What you want to do is just a couple sprays. Grab your microfiber towel, just work your way around the vehicle until lock in that protection. Alright, so we just went through it with Burnout, we wiped it off. Want to get some haze out with some Ceramic Detailer. Super glossy. I went through and hit some Put some trim protectant on it using dash guard. Then on the inside, we're gonna extract all the carpets, the seats, get this thing dialed in. Try to make it as brand new as possible. I did try to go through and polish up the chrome. You see I got some good results there, but like here it wouldn't budge. I tried everything. I tried some steel wool. I've tried machine polishing with rotary. This is as much as we can do. This side came out a little bit better than the other side. Just wrapped it all up, finished up the inside. We got the carpets all extracted and protected. Removed the majority of the stains in it. We put some dash guard on all the doors and dash. Got it dressed and conditioned. Got this trim chrome all polished out like a mirror. All right, we just wrapped up the Beamer. To go over the steps that we did again, we started off this process with some eco wash, did our 2-bucket wash. Then we went through all the wheels and tires using Decon Exit OP Clean. Got them all dressed up using OP Tire Shine. If you notice, every product we use in this shop is made by Owner's Pride. We are now a fully authorized installer and retailer for them. We have all the products in stock. Depending on what you need, we got clay mints in, brushes, applicators, everything you need. Feel free to hit us up. Then we moved on to our decon wash using Owner's Pride iron remover. Using that iron remover, we were able to get all the contaminants out of the paint, leaving behind a nice clean surface. Once we pulled the vehicle in the shop, we noticed that there was some haze left behind on the paint from the previous, or just from being neglected. Like the paint was never polished or protected, and that leads to clear coat failure in the future. So we went through with some Shine Supply burnout. As you saw in the beginning, that little 50-50, it really revived the paint, brought it back to life. Super glossy, and that's the whole goal. Being that the paint is original from 1984, you do not want to risk burning it. You don't want to do anything aggressive. You want to be super gentle with it and kind of just preserve it for the future. So for protection, after we let burnout set, it applied that primer silica base, so then we topped it off with some ceramic detailer. Then ceramic detailer is known, or is rated to be a 6 month to 1 year sealant depending on how you apply it. We applied it by towel on a dry method, so we're able to get 6 months to a year out of it. Minimum is 6 months, the longest it'll probably last is a year. I've tested it, I'm about like 4 or 5 months in, that coating or the product is still holding up strong in this couple cars that we work with. But as I always mention, if I did lose you guys in the video, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. If you have any in-depth questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram at Genesis Detailing. But I think that's going to wrap up the video for today. If you guys did enjoy this video, please like and subscribe. Stick around for more detailing clips, and that's just about it. See you guys next time. Peace out.